Last year, we discussed how backlash on AI will increase and how people will organize to fight those corporate AI. 2026, and we see this growing faster and faster. Okay, there is one thing that I want to make clear. Okay, I'm not against AI, but I'm pro backlash. Okay, I pro human that organize themselves to fight those corporate AI. So let me explain why this is happening. So those backlashes happen for a specific reason. Okay, there's actually a list that I've wrote it down. Okay, but the first, most important one is AI is being built to replace humans. Okay, already it's clear. Okay, so there is people building something to replace you. Of course, you're not happy about it. Okay, what kind of idea can be a good idea to say I'm gonna build something to replace you so you won't work anymore? I mean, first of all, give me an alternative and then I can support you maybe, but without an alternative, of course I'm against that idea. So before I carry on, in this video I'm going to have three sessions. Okay, one, we need to understand why we have those backlashes. What are the reasons of the resistance? Because we need to support this resistance. So then, what we want instead of this reality, and second and third, how we can achieve this. So first, let's go through this list of reasons. So, like I said, an AI built for replace human is not acceptable. AI built to make fewer billionaires even richer doesn't sound like a good plan. AI data center, which is one of the biggest problem, basically creating a lot of problems, from of course polluting the environment to increasing the electricity bills in the area, the water bills in the area. Those are massive impact of the community where those AI data centers get built. So that is already a massive reason why there is these people, especially on those local places, need to resist, and why we need to support them, because for them it's really survival. Why I say survival? Okay, it seems like okay, they're not gonna be killed. No, it's not. It's not in that sense. Okay, but think about the electricity bills is gonna increase a lot. The water bills is gonna increase. Pollution is gonna increase. I mean, your lifestyle is gonna change massively. For some people, the only solution is to stay there and live in that environment. For others, will have to live if they can. But can you understand this? So the price of the house is gonna go down in those areas because who wants to live with the higher bills and higher pollution? Nobody. Okay, so the impact of those communities is huge. It's not fair. Now, other elements are AI stealing the creative DNA from creatives. So AI has been trained on human assets, human creation, and now can create unlimited data that sounds like, that looks like, that writes like the original human. Clearly, nobody is happy about this. Okay, it's you're creative, you've been building your style and so on, and then an AI learn it and then can duplicate it like a machine, like with no end. So completely diluting, I don't know the right words, but basically removing the element of scarcity that you would create, having like a massive amount of your uniqueness be repeated over and over. That means your quality is not, doesn't get recognized anymore. Okay, it doesn't have value anymore when you have abundance of someone else's creative DNA. So that is already another problem. Then another one, which for me is one of the biggest one, is the corporate monoculture. So those AI have been built in Silicon Valley from a specific culture of people. Okay, so that one now get injected inside those AI. So now when we talk with those AI, they behave like them. Okay, which explain why things are like this. Okay, why we are not happy interacting with this AI. Just gonna give you an example. The idea of sycophancy, the idea of massive production, brute force production. Okay, I don't want to work in that way. Okay, I want an AI that actually can challenge me. I want an AI that doesn't go into production right away, but is ask me questions. You try to get deeper, try to get better with my ideas. That's the AI that I want. Okay, instead we get an AI that tells us, no, you're super good. This is such a good idea. Here's the business plan. Go to work. Okay, that's the AI that we get, the exactly opposite that what we want. But this monoculture doesn't stop into the fact that it's pushing you towards a specific behavior that is maybe not in line with you, but also is the fact that their monoculture is somehow colonizing everybody. Okay, it's the only culture now available. Instead, we need to an AI that is for the multi, okay, the multiculture, the different one. Each one of us should have ability to, to work in a specific way, to, to build whatever kind of reality instead of being forced within a specific behavior. Now, this brute force acceleration created, because it's part of the culture, right? So because of they have the culture, they go into this brute force acceleration that create a really environment that is not healthy. Okay, because now we have those company, in somehow try to get maximum land. Okay, we are the land to conquer the maximum users and lock them in. Okay, that is the strategy. Okay, I need to be the first one, so I'm gonna get maximum leverage on my positioning and capture as much human as possible, lock them in, and then keep growing. So all of them are doing this thing. There is a company like Google that are in a better position. They don't even fight the game because they already won somehow. Okay, most of us, okay, most of humans use in a way or another a Google service. And in a way or another, you already have this AI being injected in every single product. So Google is already winning without fighting because they have already won the land. Okay. Now there is OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI. They're fighting instead. Okay, so that fight is pushed towards brute force in the sense more compute, more data center, more money, more investments. Okay, more. Okay, it doesn't matter the effect of it. Okay, more means the data center that we were discussing earlier. Okay, more means pushing the culture more and more. All of this are used through also a strategy. Okay, the idea of FOMO, okay, fear of missing out. So they push this fear of missing out to investors, to governments. Now you must invest. You must allow us to do this because otherwise you're gonna lose all your money, or otherwise the China is gonna, build this super intelligence is gonna kill us all. Okay, this idea of this we must win, otherwise we lose. There's no something in the middle. It's or we win or we lose everything. That is the mentality, okay? And that is the mentality that get pushed, and that is the narrative that created this problem. Because now maximum acceleration. Okay, we should even think, stop a little bit, reflect, build alternative. No, let's replace all the human. Let's push AI on everything. Let's conquer the world through the power of AI. Now, that's of course create a problem. That's of course create people that are not happy, and there is no a different alternative at the moment. That is the narrative that they're pushing. That is what they're building, and we as a human, we're going to be more and more in the resistance side. Okay, we'll have to resist this. Okay, there's no an alternative because soon they will come from you. Okay, it's just question of time. Okay, their business model works and only works if they replace you. Okay, the investment that they've been done on this technology is so huge that the only way to recoup is that they need to succeed. Okay, so they will succeed. They will replace you. Okay, that is the madness of their business model. Okay, that is the madness that they are building. Now, like I said at the beginning, I'm not against the AI because there are two different things. It's one, understanding the culture, the enemy, okay, the the system. Another thing is understanding the technology and say, okay, this is a technology like a lot of different other technology that we can use for something. Okay, so we shouldn't mix the two things. Okay, what we need, because otherwise we fight the wrong fight. Okay, the fight is not against the technology; it's against the behavior, against a culture. The culture of replacing human is the wrong one. Okay, the culture of instead having tools for human to use so they can be more creative, so they can be automated, can have a better life. That is is the right culture. Okay, otherwise we would say not to computer, not to mobile phone, not to TV, not to radio, not to cars, not to bicycles, not to everything that is being created as a technology. Okay, so we see that human through technology increase the quality of their life, increase what is the possible doing. Okay, trains, cars, airplanes, and so on. Think about this. But each one of them unlocks something. Now there are technologies that are negative. Okay, but mainly when I say negative, in the sense. Because I'm thinking, okay, like atomic bomb, okay, but that a bomb is negative, okay, because it can kill people, can destroy the planet, and so on. But atomic, the nuclear aspect, the science behind the use of that technology to create energy doesn't mean that it's negative, okay. If applying the right way in the correct space and so on, makes sense. So there is much difference between a technology and how the technology gets used. Now, for the AI, it's the exact same thing. Okay, we can use AI for good. Okay, to build something that is useful, that can help us with work, but or we can build the AI that they want that are going to replace us. So that is the thing to understand. Now, let's move to the next part. Okay, what do we want? What we should try to achieve with this resistance. Okay, this is kind of a declaration of war. Okay, in the sense we can't accept this direction. Okay, so we must build the resistance. So what do we want? So of course, not an AI that replaces human. Okay, but we want an AI that augments humans. So the idea of being augmented by AI, meaning I can do more, better, safer, faster, is not a negative thing. Okay, as long as I'm in control. Okay, as long as it's me, it's my idea. As long as I'm being augmented instead of replaced, that is great. Okay, that's what I want. And again, this is not for everybody. Some people can say, no, I don't want it. Okay, good. Okay, but this is not the point of the problem with technology. Some people just don't want. I don't know. Some people write with pen and paper. Some others record audio notes. Some other use the computer to type. Some other don't type at all. Okay, so each one of us is different. Wants to do something different. We should be able to do this. So what I'm saying, AI doesn't need to be for everybody, and we should have this freedom. But it can be for some people. And like we did with computer, was like at the beginning a niche and then become basically something that all of us use it, and they have it in form of a mobile phone, for example. So AI that doesn't replace human but augment human. An AI that is decentralized in the sense that can run locally. And this is for several reasons. One, we don't put AI everything in one single place where they create water problem, electricity bills goes up, pollution get concentrated in one place. But not if we decentralize, we have the division of these problems. Second, I'm gonna go back to this decentralization because it's much more complex than this. But second, if we have local AI, if I have my own AI, then I have the privacy, I have the security of something. I don't have my data, my thinking be analyzed by a corporation and so on. So that is the thing that we need to aim. When I said local AI, there is a reason why data centers have been built. And it's not just because, and it's not the effect of just dividing. Okay, so my local AI plus your local AI plus someone else's local AI can't do what a single data center can do. Okay, so that concentration of power can create something that cannot be done in a decentralized way. So there is an incentive in reality to go in that direction. But the fact that we might need data centers doesn't mean that we need to build it so wrongly. Okay, so the problem here is this need of accelerate to be fast. So the idea of going fast means that before we have the electricity that can cover the station, we need to build it anyway, and we need to, pollute even more and take the electricity out of the grid. The bill goes up and so on, because we don't wait for the grid. I mean, when I say we, it's the corporation, don't wait for the grid, but they just need to do it right now. Okay, that speed create also the problem. So there is no time for adjustment. And the price of this is paid by the citizen, not by the corporation. So the decentralization of intelligence makes sense to a level, but doesn't replace the need of AI data centers. Now they're building this idea of because they see that building on the planet Earth is going to be complicated. They're going to build it on space. Good. Of course, even there can be a lot of problems. But let's say that if done properly, again, who knows? But if done properly, that is basically zero impact to the planet, which is much better than what is happening now. So the other thing that we want is open source. Okay, the problem that I personally have, that a lot of people have as well, is the idea that those corporations are training on human data. Okay, human history, our own data. Okay, they train on everybody data, and then they make it private. Okay, it's owned by them. That is the most wrong thing you can do. Okay, they have no imagination to create a business how do you call it, model, a business model that can work differently from just I own everything, you need to pay the rent for using it. Okay, this idea of corporate AI, it's just broken by itself. Okay, we need open source AI. What open source? Because we need to own, each one of us, we contributed through our history of humanity, okay, for what we do on internet and so on. We contribute in a way or another to this, to build this, okay. If not directly as our parents, the parents of our parents, okay, our family, our history. This, our family contributed to the creation of the data necessary to build AI. Now it's been taken and then sold it back to us. Madness. That's complete madness. Okay, that should be owned by the humans. Okay, train on our data. Yeah. Okay. Now it's belong to us. You don't want to train on our data. Okay, do it without, and then it's your private. But we know that is not possible. And once you train once on our data, there's no going back. You cannot say, okay, I'm not going to do it anymore. No, you did it. Now it's ours. That's how it should be. So that's how I believe the direction should be. Therefore, open source is the way forward. There are even better models than open source. We will discuss in a second. So then what we want is the multi versus the one, okay? The multicultural in the sense, not an AI that just thinking of one single way, but we want to build and change those AI, because open source, to work in a different way. Each one of us is different. Each one of us should be able to build their custom AI that can work specifically for your identity, for yourself. Okay, that is extremely important. Now, we are not getting this. We are getting this monoculture forced by those AI corporations. Okay, each one of us get pushed into those AI that, I already explained this. The sycophant, the brute force productivity, and and so on. The kind of monoculture that come from those corporations get spread all over. We see, just to make everybody understand, we see this, for example, with music. Okay, when one country has this, their music really going viral all over other countries. Okay, so we see their music in some of that culture is spreading on everybody else culture. Now, as long as we have, let's call it dominant culture that are more successful than others, that is fine. But it's different when there is no space for the alternative. When those cultures try to actually colonize the others because they have a financial incentive on this. Okay, that is the problem. Now, going back to music, we know, and when we, especially if you've been traveling, that you go around the world, there are every single place they have their own music. Okay, beautiful, amazing. Okay, so it's somehow alien sometimes to us. That sounds like, wow, this is incredible. So just because I'm a musician, I have to tell you this thing. Okay, so music for us, Westerner, we use a specific scale. So within that scale, we can create a lot of different things. Now, in some countries, they don't even have the same scale. Okay, they use microtonal steps. Okay, we have 12 steps in an octave. Now I'm going so technical. There are people that have much many steps. So the music itself, it's completely different. Cannot even be played by the same instruments. So that is how creative something can become. Now, if we don't preserve this, we lose the human ability to be so creative, so innovative, that create completely different languages. We must have this multicultural system, the multi versus the one. Okay, that's how I call it. Then, what we need is sorry, I need to write that I wrote by hand, and of course it's not always easy to read. Okay. So I can't read it, so I need to improvise here. So we need automation. Now I read it. I need automation that actually can improve human life and work instead of replacing them. Okay, that is the goal. Okay, because with AI we can automate a lot of functionalities. Okay, and some of those functionalities are actually good. Okay, that doesn't mean that because it's done by AI is always wrong. No, there is some part of my work, of your work, of the society, what it needs to do, that is so mechanical, so repetitive, that is degrading for most human. Okay, maybe there are a few humans that love it, that they thrive in, I can't say the word, but they can really love doing that kind of job. Okay, but they are not enough for the kind of position that we have, and usually those jobs are not paid well enough. So those kind of functionality should be done from AI, but not with the goal to replace human, but to augment the human. So that human that used to do that part now look after an AI that does that part, plus have more time to do other aspects of the work. So that's kind of automation is fine, and we should build it. Now we can go deeper inside this, but I hope that is clear. There are some work that are dangerous for human and should be not done by humans. Okay, is that simple. So if you don't see the benefit of automating something, understand the benefit of making it safe for humans. Okay, safe can be through, for example, manual work from robot, and mental work through a repetition that doesn't make any sense. So that part should be automated. Then what we need is not an AI that destroy our future, because at the moment this is what is happening. Okay, we have an AI that is just destroying everything. Okay, we have no a future that we can actually even think about how it's going to look like. But we need an AI that actually build this future for us. That's how we should leverage, because it's unavoidable that a massive amount of automation will create job displacement, and will optimize things in a way that is the future is going to change. That is unavoidable, but also needed. We need to change this future because at the moment it doesn't. Even without AI, it's not going really in the correct direction. Okay, this is not working by default. Okay, from the planet that is suffering for whatever reason. Okay, but it's suffering, and then we need to take control of creating a place that is stable for all of us, but also for the life that we're building, where the gap between rich and poor are increasing, and the people in the middle are getting squeezed. So there is a problem there already. Okay, some society are suffering this more than others, of course, but the problem is there, it's evidence, and is well documented. So I'm not making this up. Okay, everybody knows about this, and that is the direction where we are going. So we need to a world that is designed differently, okay? And we can leverage AI to change this world. Why I saying leverage AI? Because AI does one thing, okay? Can accelerate processes. And we are in a reality where we need to accelerate. In the sense, the things are changing faster than we are used to. And that fast changing, it's difficult to adapt. Okay, we can use AI to leverage its ability to fast changes, to actually change fast with it. I'm making a little bit of confusion, but yeah, hopefully it's clear. For example, the school still not working as they should. Okay, I remember when I was little, we were fighting to improve the school and so on, and never happened. Okay, they changed. They're not getting any better. Now we could use AI to implement AI inside the school, so we can have a massive impact on the speed and quality of how we learn. It's possible. Okay, I wrote an ebook. Actually, I'm gonna link in the below. It's free to download, and it's about the last human teacher is called, and basically it's about the era of AI and TikTok. Okay, so these two elements are really changing how the young people interact with reality, with the school, with learning, and so on. And the school needs to adapt to this. So I'm not really selling this book really well, but it actually is really good. Okay, there are practical and understanding of the problem and practical solution on how to change the way that you work as a teacher, but also how to implement AI inside this, and how not to stop those young people to use AI, but how to leverage the AI to actually grow. I'm gonna make it super simple because it is important now I started. So we need to change from the artifact to the process. Okay, at the moment the school are just checking artifacts. Okay, your essay, whatever. Okay, so they're checking your artifacts and say, okay, this was good, you pass. This was not good, you don't pass. That's how they do it. Now AI can create artifacts, amazing artifacts, really, really fast. So the problem here is how teacher can actually check if the artifact is being done by human or not. It's not possible. It's a legal problem. I'm not gonna go too deep in the book. There's much more explanation, but the problem here is we need to move from the artifact as an evidence to the process as an evidence. So if we check the process, then doesn't matter the artifact if it's done by AI or not. Okay, the process is how those students are thinking, operating, working, and that is much more important than the final product. Okay, because on that one also they can be employed. On the final product, who cares? AI can do it. Okay, so this is the what. Okay, but now I need to explain how we achieve this. Okay, that is what we wanted. Now, how do we do this? So first of all, we need to support this resistance. Okay, we need to join, help, and understand, and so on. Sorry. Second, we need to educate each other. Okay, a lot of people, just because they touch AI and say, this is not good, and I don't really understand. This is not good. This is plus it wants to replace me. I'm against. Okay, I'm not gonna touch it again. I'm just against. So there is not a total understanding about the technology, how it can be used, how it can be helpful, and so on. Because of that thing, they now start a new journey, a new narrative that can be fully manipulated. Okay, because there is a lot of good reason why to be against AI, and I listed earlier. Okay, because of those good reasons, then you think, okay, I'm right because those are really good reasons. Therefore, who is with AI is wrong. Okay, this idea of okay, there is only two lane if I have a proof that I'm right, then automatically the other one is wrong. That is, again, is part of the culture, and this is the biggest enemy. So instead of thinking in this way, we need to educate each other. And each other means on both those lanes, which in reality we are never on those lanes. We are always in the middle, but pushing on on one side of another. So while this it's human behavior to to join one group of another, what we need to do instead is educate each other and help to understand the other point of view. Like I said, AI has a lot of problems, and but can also bring a lot of solutions. Now we need to make this path of people that are against AI understand it fully. Okay, because we should be on that side. Okay, automatically we should be just on that side, because the other side is not a good one. Okay, and so we should be on this side, but with our diversity, with our understanding of technology and so on. So we should discuss and try to build something that works. So education and on each other is a must, is a must do. This is peer learning, is how we as a human, we can improve and get better. Second, whatever we need, the kind of decision we need to make in that in that lane, we need to make it through data. Okay, it's we as a human, we work as our emotions. Okay, our emotion gives us like the intuition of where to go. This is great. Okay, we need to go there. Okay, I feel it is correct. I'm gonna go there in that direction. Now I need data to understand the problem, but for the real problem. Otherwise, I'm just full of an intuition, and I might be wrong on some aspect, I might be right on some others. Instead, collecting data and use data to make decision, that is how we can fight and win this war. So, also another aspect that we need to understand, that nothing is perfect, okay? But everything can be improved. So nothing is perfect. In this case, I'm just making an example. The fight we're gonna do is not gonna be a perfect fight. Okay, it's gonna be sometimes too much, sometimes not enough. So we need to learn and improve that part, but also understanding that AI is not it's not perfect. Okay, in the sense, we all know that it's not perfect, this is a mess. But I'm telling you about the technology itself, not the output of the AI. So the technology itself, it is at the moment creating problem, in the sense pollution, electricity bills, and so on. Okay, that is happen because of this massive acceleration and the culture behind that drive the acceleration. But in the technology itself, like I said, it's not evil technology. Okay, so it's a technology that now we look at it and we see has problems. Now we can improve those problems. Okay, open source, decentralized, and so on. So we should stop thinking about, wow, we need to find the perfect solution. It doesn't exist. Okay, only exists a lot of different solutions. None of them are good. We need to accept the one that is good for us as a human, and then say, okay, on this one we are going to improve. Think about the first cars. Really pollution. There was no roads. There were no gas station. So the technology itself was like broken. Okay, what can I do with this? It just doesn't work. But then we build the infrastructure. We improve the technology, and now we have even electric cars. Okay, so think about the journey. Now this journey with AI needs to go much faster, but it can go. Much faster, because we can't create those data centers in this way. Okay, it's ruin human life. Is never good a plan. So now, what is the next thing that we should do? It's called augmentation. Okay, this is a philosophy. It's the philosophy of augmenting human instead of replacing human. Again, link in the description. This is a link to the manifesto of augmentation, so you can read and understand all those elements. And now, then what's the other step is to build the alternative. Okay, like I said, we are not just because the resistance to a system is a way, what it does is trying to break and slow down the resistance, okay, the system. So we are trying to stop and slow down the monoculture corporate AI, okay, that's what is happening. But it's not gonna happen, okay? So I mean, we are gonna slow down, we are not gonna destroy it, okay? It's impossible. I mean, there's always a chance, okay, but statistically it's going to be extremely hard. But what we need to do is to build an alternative that make that system obsolete. That's how you replace things. It's not by destroying, it's just to build something that is better, okay, so much better that that system cannot work anymore. That is what I'm suggesting building. Okay, the alternative, and leverage AI to build that alternative. This is what I call the resonant DAO. Okay, we need to build a financial system that is so much better than the one that they are using that we are going to make them obsolete, and funding won't go there anymore. Okay, that is the ultimate way of fighting this. It's not just to say, I'm going to fight in the street and stop them. No, I'm going to build the alternative. Now, this ResonantOS has a specific plan and structure. Those plan and structure are being explained and discussed in our weekly talk over Zoom. So if you join the community, link in the description is a Discord community. So you join Discord, and through there you will receive invitation from Wednesday call, Thursday call. We will discuss those things. There are specific plans, specific ideas that we should discuss together, because they need to be, like I said, it's peer learning. Okay, we build together. So we have a philosophy that is our North Star. We know we need to go in that direction. Now we have a growing community, because it's so clear. Okay, it's going to be the rest of the world against this corporation, because that is how it's going to be divided over time. Okay, there's no other direction. So that is what we're building. Okay, we are building a place where the rest of the world can go. That is how powerful is this rebellion, because it's really dividing the society in these two sides. Okay, the billionaires that can have those super powerful AI that, like we saw already, that they are not going to share with the human public because it's too dangerous to share it, and the rest of us that are going to be replaced by AI. Okay, so the direction is clear, but there is no plan. Okay, now we can build this plan, and we shouldn't build a national level, because that is the old thing, the old way of thinking. Okay, we need to think this as a worldwide solution. Okay, we are advanced. We should. I mean, this idea of those governments still there, still protecting their land, still protecting their thing. Okay, enough. Okay, we are humans, and our diversity is the beauty that we have. Our collective intelligence can resolve problems that a monoculture can't. It seems like we have the technology that already connect us through internet and social networks and so on. Now we can leverage all of this to build finally an alternative that is on top of them, that they can't control, because they can always control a local reality. They can't control a worldwide reality. We saw this happening with, for example, Bitcoin. Bitcoin can be regulated locally, but not stopped. Okay, that is the thing. So if we build with that kind of mentality a world level solution for the problem, then cannot be stopped. So again, link in the description for to join the community, the deep dive article about this, and thanks for staying until now. I really appreciate it. If you stay until here, it's because you are one of us. Okay, you are one of those rebels. So let's build together. Join the Discord community, and let's discuss. Like and subscribe, and see you to the next video. Ciao.